Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Camille.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. Why are we doing that?
Oh no, that's how it's gonna start.
This is how this episode is going to start. And as always, thank you to your fellow venator of Serene, Charlie, John, and Lux. Thank you very much for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you. So today it's only Kat and I.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're the best of the podcast, so that's fine, right?
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it. You said it, not me.
We can say it because neither James nor Matt are going to listen to this episode.
Exactly. The only way that they will know is if someone snitches. So.
If one of you listener snitched,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to go well.
I mean,
yes, what are we going to do anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, today we don't really have a plan, except that this episode is literally going to come out 5 days before the third season of The Wheel of Time starts getting released officially. A lot of folks probably will have seen the first episode because there's a screening 3 days before.
Mm-hmm.
But we are people from the past
Yes.
that you will listen to in the future.
Mm-hmm. I hope we say something like prophetic. Like something just like super profound and prophetic. And then people who are listening to the episode when it comes out, they're just like, oh my God, how did they know that?
Should we bring the tarot cards again?
No. I do have a deck of tarot cards right here. We can't. No,
I
no,
don't.
No.
No. We can't do that.
We can't do that.
No, I mean, the few things we can talk about. So to give some context, today came out a bunch of posters from The Wheel of Time. The first one being Swan.
Oh my God.
And I was so happy seeing Sophia Canedo on that poster, and like the first poster of that thread being like the Amirline seat.
Yeah. Ugh.
And then it was only women and like mostly women of color. I think there's one white woman on that all. It's only Elaine.
Yeah, it's only Elaine. That's right. Yeah.
And the rest is women of color.
It's all women of color, which is like, it made me so. I actually got a little emotional when I saw, I saw all the posters coming out and I saw like who was being featured. And I'm sure that this is like, there is a specific reason because it was very cryptic the way that they phrase things. Things are, what is it? What is the dissolving?
Is that dissolving? I think
tomorrow.
I think a few more things are gonna come up tomorrow.
So. Yes,
and it's probably White Star related because we only saw poster of people that are somehow connected to the White Star, even if there was Min also, which was interesting in my opinion.
Very interesting, and so I've suspected for quite some time that Min spends some time in the White Tower before ending up because we saw in the pictures that came out a week ago or whatever that she's going to end up in Tanchico as well with Matt and Nynaeve and Elaine. But she's going to spend some significant time in the White Tower. It'll be interesting though to see what her kind of role in that is, like why she's there. But seeing Sophia Canedo and I'm gonna blank on so many people's names. Watch, see, that's the only person's name that I can remember.
Shorey
Agdashlu, who plays Varen, Mira Sial, Leanne. No, Leanne is the character's name.
Yeah.
What's the?
No, it's not Jennifer.
Jennifer. It is. You're right.
It is.
Jennifer Chon Garcia, I think is the. Yes. And May. No. Yes.
I don't know who you're talking
Min's
about.
actress's name.
Oh.
Or the actor for Min. See, now I have to test. I'm testing, and you know what? I was just looking at...
I'm very bad at name. K. Alexander.
K. Alexander. I knew it was a short first name. K. Alexander. Yeah. And are we missing anyone? And then we had
Nine, like for Naive.
Don't cut that. Cut that. Don't cut that.
Zoe Robbins.
Zoe Robbins.
And Kiara Frelaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we're just bad with names.
Listen, I'm really bad with names, and also I was very excited.
Kiara Covenant.
Yes.
I remember, like, as you said that you were only remembering Sophia Canedo, and that was the only name that was coming up to my mind. So yeah.
So so all of that to say, like, the entire cast is phenomenal. Like, the casting has been by and large just very, very good, very, very well done. But the amount of women of color that are included in this show, let alone a show, period, but for it to be a fantasy show as well, is impressive as hell. It's great. It's so nice to see, and also like middle-aged women as well. Like, not just the amount of middle-aged, like, it's just, I'm so excited to see it, and it makes sense because with the Aes Sedai, you need women who are like established and have that sort of presence. But oh my god, it was so cool.
And also, like, it makes sense when you consider that the White Tower is a recruitment of women from all around the Wheel of Time world in a way. But it's like, I mean, it would have been very easy to have like I don't know, maybe a country that have people of color and the rest is pretty much white. But this is definitely not what's going on here. And also, like, I love that it's not just, for example, a specific ethnicity that is being represented and that's it. There's very much a diversity there, like in terms of background, in terms of like, where people are from, what they like. I saw like whether some people are from theater background, some people are from TV show background. And there's very much a diversity of talents there too. And it's very refreshing. And I'm so stoked that this is ongoing. And also, like, I've noticed from the marketing this season that, I mean, the group poster, there's a lot of women there. A lot of Aes Sedai are represented there.
Oh, yeah.
Both the teaser and the trailer are focused on both Rand and the White Tower. So we saw a lot of... I don't actually remember what was going on in the teaser, whether it was mostly Moraine and Rand or something else, but like definitely the trailer had a lot of White Tower stuff. It was very much a focus on the White Tower is not going well, and we need it to be well for Rand to win. And I mean, I know that the season's not going to be just the White Tower, because we know that there's going to be things going on for Perrin, like in the Two River. We know there's going to be a Tenchiko plot. We know there's going to be a lot of Aiel, but even in the Aiel, we already seen like some Wise One, for example, and there's going to be some maidens going like there too. But it just, I don't know, it's nice. It's just nice to see a fantasy TV show and not to be like counting at how many women are going to be there.
Yeah. And like and too, like, we know, because we have precedent for this, like, we know that the characters that are going to be involved are not just going to be these sort of like two-dimensional sort of caricatures of characters. Like, they're going to have depth to them. There's going to be, they're going to have arcs. We know that that's going to happen and has been happening. And so it's really, really exciting to see. Like, I mean, I think I've made myself very, very clear in how excited I am about seeing Elida. I am very, like, Shore Agdashlu is one of my favorite actresses. I think she's just phenomenal.
Her voice.
Her voice, it's so embarrassing.
It just makes me shiver, and I'm honestly kind of jealous about that voice, because it's a voice that I wish I had. This kind of very deep, bassy voice. are just stunning to me.
Yeah.
And especially when it's a woman, because you do hear the type of voice a little bit more with men, like the deep bassy voice.
Yes.
Is that a baritone or is that, I don't know. But for women, it's rare.
Yeah, it is.
And I really like it.
It sounds so... I remember when I first started watching The Expanse, it took me a couple... Like, I had to go back and rewatch scenes because I was focusing so much on just her speaking and saying things, and I wasn't focusing on what she was saying. So I suspect it's going to be a similar experience with Wheel of Time. I'm okay with that.
It's going to be fine.
Resign myself to it. Yeah, it's okay.
That's fine if you have to rewatch Elida.
Exactly. Oh, what a travesty. I have to go back and watch her.
So sad. Yeah. I was thinking about, like, when you were talking about that we know that those characters are going to have depths and this kind of thing. It's really... I mean, the show has made its proof, like, in the past 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really show what they're capable of doing. Even for, like, minor characters who were pretty flat on the page, like Leandrine.
That's literally who I was thinking of. Yeah.
So much nuances to Leandrine got added with the show, which turned her into a more interesting character that I don't know whether we want to root for her or not, but at least we're invested in her story. Mm-hmm. They also proven, like, times and times again that for sensitive storylines, they're also able to do a proper job there and they have a care for this character to ensure that their story is handled well. And we saw that last season with Egwene, with everything she was going through. So yeah, they've really reached a point where there's a lot of women and I trust them with their story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, another character I think of is Min, who the fandom has been very divided on, let's say, on her importance in the story and her role in the overall series. And I really like what they're doing with their character. Like, they're giving her a little bit of there's a little bit of a grit to her, which it was like that was like I remember when we were first introduced to her, that was the impression that we got. Like, there was a little bit of an edge to her. There was a little bit of a, like, sort of
attention there.
Yeah, exactly. But that was never really developed. And then she just sort of became, you know, but they're making an effort to really dig into who she is as a character. And I'm really interested to see how they're going to continue with that. And what places she's going to go this season. And yeah, it's really, really cool to see.
Especially in season 2, like, she got played by a Forsaken. She has a lot of doubts about her power. She's not at the stage where she's fine with them.
Mm-hmm.
And she also see, like, some of the consequences that, like, what she's doing can have on other people. Mm-hmm. I think, like, the scene with her and Matt genuinely broke her in a way, because that, like, she betrayed him in a very big way, and they were starting to become good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's already a lot of nuances to her character and a lot of internal struggles that you didn't really see in the books, because, I mean, she was mostly a flat character. Like, she was there to help, but you were not really diving into her goals or, like, what was driving her in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was like we were introduced to her character after all of the development was already done.
Yes.
You know? And then there was nothing else left to develop. And so there was just, like, you know, little bits and pieces and implications, but there was no actual, you know, growth arc that we got to see.
And I think it would have been fine if Min also had, like, because Min, when she's introduced in the books, she's a tough woman. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't let anyone order her around or this kind of thing. And you kind of see, like, a regression in her character. Like, she loses some of the confidence that she showed at first.
Yeah.
And now she's starting with a bit more self-doubt, and I'm hoping that it show more of a a more interesting character progression instead of like giving us hopes about a character and then disappointing us with her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I hope she takes kind of more of the Nynaeve route, if that makes sense. Like where, like Nynaeve in this series, she starts off in one very specific set in her ways point. And as she grows throughout the series, the last little bit is shaky for sure. But she has, like, for the majority of the season, she has a really solid arc that she goes through. And a very, like, you can track it, too, and see the different sort of significant...
Are you talking about season 2, or are you talking about the books?
Sorry, I was talking about Nynaeve in the series, in the books.
Yeah, because you said season, and I was confused because I saw you were talking about the books, and I was like...
Yeah, I just said the wrong word.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's, like Nynaeve has this sort of very trackable arc. And I hope that that's kind of the route that they take with Min in the show, where she's starting from this place of like a lot of self-doubt, and a lot of, I think, self-loathing as well, which is, I think that's kind of what connected her and Matt, because he is also someone with a lot of self-loathing and a lot of self-doubt.
Yes.
And so we'll see. I am so excited to see that particular combination of characters in Tenchiko, because there are a lot of personalities happening there.
Yeah, I mean, I already loved the duo between Matt and Min, which was not a duo that I was particularly expecting, especially coming from the books.
Yeah.
But now we are gonna have like Matt, Min, Elaine, and Nynaeve.
Mm-hmm.
And also like Tom and who is probably Jillian or some other guy. I care a bit less about them.
Yes.
but I mean, we already saw like some of the dynamic between Elaine and Nynaeve, and then you add on top of that the dynamics that we already saw between Matt and Min, and you mix that all together, you shake it, and then you see what's gonna come out.
Oh, it's delicious. And then you have the pre-existing dynamic with Matt and Nynaeve, because they Nynaeve is basically his big sis, has grown up as his big sister / aunt / whatever. And so you have that dynamic as well. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited to see it.
There's so many characters that I just can't wait to get a little bit more of them. Like we were mentioning Elaine. Elaine is also someone that I'm interested to see her development, especially said like we know that we're going to see more of her family, which I don't know how much she's going to interact with her family, but like it's always the same thing when you're meeting some like the family of someone you already know. It always says a little bit about that person you thought you know. It always like you always learn something from meeting someone's parents or someone's brother. Or... It is
an eye-opening experience. Like you're just like you meet someone's parents and you're just like, oh, I see.
That makes so much more sense now.
I get you now. I understand you more. Yeah, exactly. For better, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes just neutral, whatever. But it's an eye-opening experience for sure.
Yeah, so and also we know that she's interacting with Rand a little bit, and with Avienda.
And within Avienda, which I was not expecting. Well, that's not true.
And with Min, because she's going to be in Tenchiko too.
Yes. Everything is coming together, Camille. I'm so happy. Everything is coming together. It's so good.
Yeah. And also, like, so by the time this episode comes out, I'm sure there's going to be already a bunch of interviews that will have been released. But I just can't wait for the interview between Ayula Smart and Kara Coveney.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be so much fun. It seems like they get along really well already, and they just seem super delightful. So I'm excited.
Which play was it? I think it was the play with Kate Fleetwood that she was doing in London. But it was a single night, and Kate Fleetwood found out the script while she was going on stage.
That's right.
So that time I know that there was Ayula Smart, Kara Coveney, I think the person who played Reina in season 2,
Okay.
maybe, I don't remember, but like there was also like 2 other members of the cast. So it kind of means that they're friends outside of work too, because they go to see plays together.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, good friends.
It's nice. I love it.
Yeah, I love that the cast also goes along well. It's yeah.
They seem to genuinely have a good time together. It's like, I think the only interviews we've gotten have been with Sophie Okonedo and Daniel Henney. I might be wrong. And then there was one with Rosamund Pike as well, right? Rosamund Pike and maybe
I
not.
don't remember. So I know what interview you were talking about. Like it was a short video. But yeah, I'm expecting. I know there's quite a few different like networks that got interview, like papers and this kind of thing. So I'm expecting a flood of interview, and we are not gonna know what to look at anymore.
We're gonna be swimming. That's the thing. I always forget how much of a like big push there is in terms of promotion towards this, like with this new sort of way that shows and stuff are released and promoted and whatnot. There's always like everything is packed in to this sort of like 3 weeks. But like we're at that point where stuff is gonna just start flooding out.
I mean, we got something today. We're getting something tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be WoT Wednesday anymore.
No.
I'm expecting like the last week especially to be things are gonna come up every day.
Oh yeah. We are no longer in a famine. We are feasting good.
We are over feasting.
We are over feasting. Yes.
I think it was actually funny because I forgot it was Wednesday, and then at some point I showed up on Blue Sky, and since the Wheel of Time official account is not on Blue Sky yet, like I just was seeing like people talking about the news, and I couldn't find the news.
Oh no. That's the worst when that happens.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm gonna be trying to grasp what's going on and being very lost. That's gonna be my vibe for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
It's fine. There's stuff we can always get caught up on this stuff after too, right? I mean, also once the season starts, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't know everything, it's fine. In fact, I would say it's better that way.
Yeah, I actually don't always want to see everything that's being released because I still want to be surprised. And I just want to enjoy it without like external influence in a way.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, there's always going to be, yes, you're going to see 15, 20 people being super happy about something. And then you're going to see that one comment about like a tiny thing that annoys someone. And it's fine that it annoys them, but it just, I know for me that it has a tendency to just ruin my fun. And I'm like, maybe I should just stay away for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I completely get that. Like it's, stuff like that it kind of deflates you because you're so excited. And then, like you said, someone says, and like people are allowed to not like things. It's fine. My issue is how people communicate their dislike of things. I feel like there's a way where you can communicate it where you're not being like, if someone is saying, I didn't like this thing, and if you liked it, then you're stupid. That's a problem. But
I mean, usually I don't really see that. Like a lot of people have like the criticism. I don't know what word it is. But a lot of the time, like the tiny things that they're picking up and that they're like either it's not always even complaining, but interrogating the purpose of this kind of thing. It always reminds me of if I watch a movie with one of my sister. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about one specifically. If I go to a movie with her or go see a movie or something like that, I know I kind of don't want to talk about the movie with her because she's always going to look at it in a very analytical way, or like she watched a lot of movies, so she has like a bigger like scale of things she likes, things she dislikes. She's a bit more exigent in terms of plot or this kind of thing. And I'm like, I was just vibing there.
Yes.
I don't want to hear the noise about everything that could have been better.
Exactly.
Right now, I just want to enjoy the good vibes that it made me feel. And that's kind of why I feel when I get like whether it's Discord or social media platform, and I see like people that ask like genuine, like often good question, like good interrogation about why a specific choice was made, or like what does it mean for the rest of the book, or this kind of thing. And I'm like, I just want to vibe.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like I completely get it. I'm the same way with like, and I'm fascinated to see people do it, but I there's something about like deep diving into theories and trying to figure everything out ahead of time. I actually don't like that. like it's not, and it's not that it's not anything. I know there are lots of people in the fandom who are very much into that, but I am very much of like the school of thought of like, I want the magic. And, you know, like, I want to be surprised. I want to just go along for the ride. I don't need to figure everything out in advance.
See, sometimes I do the theorizing, but not in, like, trying to make sense of it all. More in what if they were going that way? Oh, that could be exciting. And it's more of hyping myself up in a way. Yeah. Or, like, I mean, there's some fandom friends sometimes that we have discussion about what could happen and this kind of thing. And it starts with an idea and then someone else top it and then it goes even higher and then it kind of gets very chaotic and crazy and it doesn't make sense anymore, but it has to be how that thing is going to be because that would be the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. And see, those, like, that I like, because it's not, like, no one, I think part of it for me, too, is, like, I don't want to get super invested in any kind of theory, because then, if it's not the case, I get disappointed. And and I feel like it's, like, somehow the show has failed me, and that's not the case at all. It's a me problem. It's not the show's problem, you know?
It actually happened to me very recently with like with Critical Role. Because, you know, the third campaign ended up very recently, and I don't know. I was basically, before the final episode was coming out, I was making theory on, like, I want the cast to come back with those characters in future one-shots. So I was trying to figure out, okay, maybe they could not finish that specific storyline, so later on they could bring that back in a one-shot or this kind of thing. And I got very enthusiastic about one theory that just completely fell apart after watching the final episode. And it was a bit disappointing because I was like, yeah, I would really have loved a one-shot like that. I know this ending is actually very, very, very good for those characters. But I would have liked that. So yeah, I don't want to get too invested about something because then you get just disappointment.
Exactly.
And things that should have made you very, very happy, then you take that with bitterness because, but that's not the thing I wanted to see.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm always kind of careful because I go all in on things. I get really, really excited about things. And so I try and limit myself as much as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like so right now I'm making a very conscious effort to not think too much about the potential dynamics with Nynaeve and Moghedien and possibly Leandra, because I don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm doing right now. I am trying not to.
At least there was a shot of them in the trailer, and no matter if nothing else happened, you got that, and no one can take it away from you.
Exactly. No one. You will rip that from my cold, dead hands. Oh my god.
earlier when you were talking about Min and about like character, you were excited to see a different aspect in the shows and in the books. One character for me is also Fail, that we briefly saw in the teaser first and now in the trailer. Because this is a character that a lot of people hate in the fandom. My big opinion about that is that you don't hate that character, you hate Perrin's POV of that character.
Yes, 100%.
And I am so interested in seeing what that show is going to do with her, because we can't have an internal POV.
No.
We're just watching a camera. So there's not going to be Perrin sniffing that Fail is mad at something and then acting on it when Fail is not acting mad or is not complaining about anything. She's just going on with her life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, we're going to get a fully realized personality and character of Fail, because we've, like, by and large, I mean, we there are some Fail POVs, but the ratio of Perrin's interpretation of Fail versus what we actually get of Fail it's very wonky. Very, very wonky.
Fail is far from perfect, don't get me wrong.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I don't think the hate on her is particularly justified.
No, it's not. It's not. Unfortunately, like you said, she suffers from it. That's you got it exactly right. People don't hate her as a character; they hate Perrin's POV of her.
Yeah,
which is not accurate, because Perrin is infallible. Like, he's not a reliable. None of them. Nobody in this entire series, some to a greater extent than others, nobody is a reliable narrator in this. Everyone has their own bias. Everyone has their own specific viewpoint and their own, like, how they're approaching things. Their opinion cannot necessarily be trusted, which is great. It should be that way. But it's like we remember it for some characters and then forget it for others, you know? So, yeah, I'm excited to see Fail as well. She had some knives, and that made me very excited.
She had a bow.
Which also very exciting.
She's gonna be badass.
Yeah. I love a woman who knows her different weapons, who is very adept at weaponry. Excellent. Yeah. I'm looking forward to her too. It's going to be really I'm interested to see how she's going to be introduced, because I am assuming it will have to be different than how we meet her in the books, which completely fine. It doesn't matter how we meet her, I don't think. But
how do we meet her? I think we met her in a village while going to Ilian.
It's while they're doing the hunt for the horn.
I think she's still gonna be a hunter for the horn, I guess, because
I assume so, yeah.
I mean, yes, Matt blows a horn, but I don't see why people in the Two River would know about that. And the Two River is close to Malessa, and so maybe she thought that it was a good point to look for it.
Could be.
So that's my guess. We'll see whether it's that or not. I'm sure they'll find something in any case.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it'll be whatever they've come up with is going to be very creative, and it's going to make complete sense when we see it, and we're going to be like, "Oh my god, how did I not think of that? It's so obvious," So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, we've gotten bits and pieces sort of this character, and we've gotten a little bit more as like in season 2 than season 1. But it's going to be so cool seeing Sophie Okonedo as Swan in a more extended fashion. I can't wait.
She has solo poster and interview. I mean, this is insane. This is so great. I'm so happy that she get to shine even more. I also it's going to be nice because so far, a lot of what we saw of Swan was directly related to Moraine, or how she was reacting to Moraine. Except for a flashback when she was a kid.
Right.
But a lot of that was kind of, you're seeing her through the eyes of Moraine. She's gonna have a big White Tower plot.
Oh yeah.
While Moraine is away, and Moraine is not the center of her world. She has a tower to lead, and it'll be nice to actually see that. And especially season 2 ended kind of in a bit of a weird way for Swan and Moraine.
Yeah.
And it was in a way kind of controversial, and people were taking sides.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the reason why part of the fandom was very much against Swan in that situation is also because we haven't seen much of Swan by herself.
We don't know her as much. Yeah.
We don't really know her. We know a little bit of her as a girlfriend, but that's it.
Yeah. We're not I mean, we are invested in Swan as a character because we know what is coming for her in the books, but the general viewing audience, they have no real reason to be invested in her as a character right now. And this season is really it's gonna be a big season for her. There's a lot that's gonna happen, and I have every confidence in the show because they've only shown that they're gonna give these characters their due, and they're gonna treat them well, and with a lot of consideration, and yeah.
I kind of feel like the first 15 minutes of that first episode is gonna just be MILF on MILF violence.
MILF on MILF violence. It's gonna be the fucking MILF Thunderdome. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
And this fight scene, in the White Tower, looks really good because we've seen a few different battles so far, but some of them were using some power, but not to that extent. And now it's a battle with only the one power.
Yes.
There's no water to fight against one another. It's just power.
Yeah. It's whew.
That fireball around Leandrine in the trailer looked so good.
Oh my god. And just we get more Leanne. That's very exciting. Seeing Leanne, she is going into full Keeper of the Chronicles mode, full Protector mode for Swan. That's gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be so cool. And Rafe has talked about this. Other members of the cast have talked about how incredible the first 15 or so minutes of the first episode is going to be, and it looks good too. It's obvious that there's been an increase. The increase in budget is showing now. It's really, really showing now. It showed a little bit in season 2 as well. You could see how things were getting developed and things were getting better. But this season, I think, is really gonna really, really show.
And for a TV show, whether you're talking about costume or VFX, when you start a new season, you don't start from nothing. You always build on top of what was already done. And they spent the first season, the manifestation of power was a good basic, but wasn't what the power could be. It was there was no color, for example, for it.
Right.
And progressively you build on top of what you've already done. So you're able to add more detail in a way. Whether it's a specific technique or something like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it is starting to pay off. And that's going to be great to see.
Oh yeah. And it's because you mentioned the costumes this season. I just know, I know that Jenny and Bree, every time they see a new costume, they just I could just picture them cackling with glee and just rubbing their hands together and being oh my god, the videos that we're gonna make, the costume breakdowns that we're gonna make.
Yeah, it was so at Malcuricon last year there was 2 people who work on the costume side, and you see also when you hear them talk that there's a genuine love for the craft they're doing. They are master crafter in a way.
Oh yeah.
And it's whenever you see Sharon on Instagram posting a lot about costume, and it just
she's so excited. Like she's so excited to share what her and her team have created. It's so cool to see.
It's when you put a lot of good people working on the same project with like a good work environment and the resources that you need.
Yeah. Good things happen.
Good thing happen when you do that. Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's going to be real good.
So do you think, since you were talking about us making a guess, that people are going to be, how did they figure it out? For that first episode, do you think we are just going to be in Tarvalon, or is there going to be outside of Tarvalon?
No, I think we're going to be... that's a good question.
Because it seems like if the MILF-on-MILF violence starts at the beginning of the episode, that means that Nynaeve is already at the White Tower. So the group is already in Tarvalon.
Yes. I think that for a good chunk of the episode, they will be in Tarvalon. I think towards the end of the episode is when their paths will start to diverge. And we'll see Rand and Egwene going off to the Waste. We'll see Elaine and Nynaeve and Matt and Min, or I don't know about Min actually. If she leaves with them or comes later, who knows? They'll go off to Tanchico, and then is there another location that we're going to be?
The Two Rivers? Did you already mention that?
The Two Rivers. No, I haven't. The Two Rivers. It'll be interesting if Perrin goes directly to the Two Rivers, or if he's with another group at first, and then I don't know. So
Perrin, from the trailer, and from the trailer and the book, we know there's gonna be Alana and Maxime with him. We know there's gonna be Ben and Chiad, and there's gonna be Loyal.
Yes.
I think in order for him to go, he needs to hear news of the Two River and Trollocs being sighted there. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's going to be something he's going to hear in in Tarvalon.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. Yeah.
I don't think we'll see Min in Tarvalon, despite her being part of the poster, because I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe,
Maybe she gets a viewing. Maybe she gets a viewing of what's happening in Tarvalon.
So the thing is that she was in Cairhien, where a bunch of sisters were. And those sisters all went back to Tarvalon. So maybe she actually was with there.
Yeah.
Because she is known from Aes Sedai.
Oh yeah, they know her, because Moiraine knew her very well. And Min knew her as well. So she is known. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, Liandrin knew Min, so there's going to be...
Oh, yes. Liandrin knew her, also because of the Ishamael connection, I believe, too. But yeah, I think she knew her both ways. That sounds dirty. She knew her. I don't know how to make it less. There were different avenues that she knew her from.
And also, she was with Matt, and yes, they fought, but then, Matt left and got, immediately captured and sent to Falme. But I feel like Min would have looked for him at some point.
Oh, for sure.
So if she doesn't find him in Cairhien, she's gonna think maybe there's something, maybe it's the Aes Sedai who've done something, for example.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
So yeah, maybe she is in Tarvalon indeed.
Yeah. It's that was the, you know what? I didn't think of that. That makes a lot of sense. Because the Swan had her whole entourage there in Cairhien. That makes sense.
Yeah. Alana is there. Varian is there. Lyanna is there. Liandrin is there.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
Who knows? Yeah. It's gonna be a fun season. And I'm excited because there's always people making comparison with Game of Thrones and being like, yeah, but Game of Thrones really starting being big in season 3. And I don't like the comparison with Game of Thrones, but I do wish, I'm really hopeful that it's going to be the season that make it for Wheel of Time, in the sense that it's already on a lot of people's radar.
Oh, yeah. Season 2 did quite well. It's in terms of exposure and everything like that. And it's I know people have issues with Amazon's marketing and everything like that. But I don't know. I feel like the show is getting around well enough.
And also, like, a lot of people are looking at marketing as, like, things that happened in the US. So that's why they're going to be talking about physical banner or this kind of thing. But Amazon is interested a lot more in,
Oh, yes.
like, outside of the Western world. Amazon doesn't care just about the US anymore. They care a lot about whether they're going to get more subscription outside of the US and even outside of Europe. I think, like, Amazon already has a lot of subscription in most Western country, and those are interested in outside of that because, I mean, your subscription number at some point is it's gonna stop growing because you know, when you've reached a certain percent of the market, not a lot of people get like more. There's not a lot of potential for more.
Exactly.
But like, I think it's also where like that diversity of casting help because, like, I mean, I feel like the Wheel of Time show is doing pretty well in India. Or
it is. I think India. I was going to say India is one of the places that they're like the views are quite high. Which,
and it's for a few reasons. Like there's a few actresses like Priyanka. Maciel, I don't remember where she's from. But
so she's. I think she's from.
I mean, she's
British, but she's from the UK.
Yeah,
but yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I feel like in India, Alvaro Mortez is also liked a lot because, like, El Casa de Papel was like Money Heist was known a lot in India. So yeah, that's also the interest of bringing people for a bunch of different backgrounds because that means that people who know them from those other backgrounds have an incentive to try out this new fantasy show by Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, because if they're watching something with that other actor or actress in there, they're going to get, they may just get recommended Wheel of Time. They say like, hey, watch this other thing that also has this person in it. So,
and it's why I saw like the cast of The Trevor, great cast, like all of those actresses and actors, very good. But it's not enough to bring the show to the mindset of everyone. That's why like people like Rosamund Pike are important, Sophia Okonedo are important. Shorey is going to do a lot because a lot of people love The Expanse.
A lot of fantasy and sci-fi fans are going to be like, oh my god. Like when she was announced, a lot of people were like, oh, okay, I have to watch Wheel of Time now because she's involved in it. Like, and that is enough for people. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was like, I saw people who were like, oh, the first season wasn't really my thing, but maybe I'm going to try again because that cast is looking really good. So if it can be like a way to push a few people to like go past the first season, which is indeed the weakest for good reason, like COVID was there.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get a show started. Like there was so much basis to do for the Wheel of Time.
They were up against a lot. They were up against a lot.
I think they did a good job with what they could, like what they had. But I know like it's a bit of a weaker season. So for people who try a lot, it can be harder. But if they can go through that and then, I mean, reach even the season 2, because season 2, there's like so many great episodes there. And then the season 3 where it doesn't stop. Then, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, exactly. And I get it. The book fans want, we want what we want. We want to see our little, like our Easter eggs. We want to see things that, like translate from the page to the screen. But if the show is going to be successful and if the show is going to be long-term, it has to appeal to the general audience. And that doesn't mean that they need to like just cave to the general public and do all of these sort of like flashy things. I don't think that's what they've been doing at all. I think they've actually been doing a pretty good job at balancing things. But the book fans are going to have to accept that there are certain things that are going to have to be done.
And also like, especially like people who really want to see more of the Emansfield 5. And I get it. But all of those are young actors. And we know how easy it is, especially for fantasy, to be categorized into young adults.
Yeah.
And if something gets put into the young adult bucket, it gets a lot harder to reach certain audience.
Exactly.
So that's kind of why you need a good mix between interesting characters among the younger folks and among like the middle age and older folks.
Exactly.
It just, yeah.
You need it. And I'm going to be completely honest. Aside from Nynaeve, I wasn't super interested in the Emmonsfield 5 at the beginning of the series. It wasn't really until like later in the series that I got really into them. So there we have it.
When you were reading the books?
Yeah, when I was reading the books the first time, like Nynaeve is always been forever my favorite character pretty much from the beginning. But like the characters that I really wanted to see, they were not the Emmonsfield 5 necessarily. Like they were, it's like, you know, the supporting characters were really interesting as well. And yeah.
I mean, I started reading those books when I was in high school. So for me, it was a lot about Egwene and Elaine. But I mean, I'm noticing that as we are rereading, I do not have the same interest than before. No, like the older characters are a bit more interesting because they're a bit more relatable because I'm a bit older.
Yeah.
So I'm twice the age that I was when I started this book. So yeah. Anyway, do we have anything else to say?
I don't think so. This was fun. I'm excited.
It was fun.
Yeah. I
actually will say that so Matt couldn't join because he's sick, and I hope he's gonna feel better soon.
Yes.
But also Matt is not someone that gets enthusiastic a lot, and not someone that likes theorizing or like talking about their enthusiasm about the show. So maybe the two of us was a good idea. Because like, listen, you were not there at last week's trailer discussion.
No, I wasn't. I was not.
But Matt was like straight face and be like, yeah, that's great. That looks nice.
God, I love Matt. I love Matt
so
like, much.
Okay, let's try to bring a little bit of enthusiasm to the table.
But listen, you put Rand and Asmodean there in front of Matt, or you put Rand and Galad there in front of Matt, and he just perks right up.
See, if that had been Asmodean, like caressing Rand's cheek instead of Moghedien and Nynaeve, there you could have had something.
We would have never heard the end of it.
Yep.
He would still be talking about it now. Just, like, I mean, I'm still talking about it now, so yeah, he'd be still talking about it. Oh my god.
Okay, well, that was fun. For folks who are listening to us, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for taking the time. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find us, we are on Blue Sky and Tumblr mostly. We also have a very nice Discord. There was a bit too many messages when I woke up this morning. I had to take the time to catch up.
Sometimes I get overstimulated.
I mean, it was great discussion, but still. Anyway, join us. We love chatting with people, as you can see. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon. With the Patreon, you can get access to the episode a few days in advance. And you can also access to unedited video recording, which this one will include that moment of Kat disappearing from the screen.
Yes.
The audio won't.
I disappear into the ether. The balefire got me.
Yes. Okay, well, see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.